A very good morning to everyone. It's wonderful to see everyone here at the Singapore FinTech Festival stage. Today, we are going to explore a very important topic. I think one that is especially salient, especially given what is happening around the world. And today with us, I have a very distinguished panel of speakers from the private sector, as well from private own enterprises looking into payments, as well as Bank of China as well. But before I hand the time to them to give a self-introduction, just a quick introduction about myself as well. I'll be your moderator today. My name is Ling. I'm the co-president of MetaComp, which is part of the MVGX group. We are a licensed company in Singapore doing payments and wealth, and our vision is to bridge traditional finance and digital assets. So very pleased to be able to join all of you here. So before I kick off the discussion proper, I would like to invite my panelists to give a quick self-introduction, if I may. Bill, maybe start with you.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. My name is Bill. I'm a CEO and also co-founder of XTransfer. So XTransfer is a business wallet. We serve importers and exporters around the world that trade goods. And actually in China right now, one exporter outside of 10, they are getting registered with us already. So they call us B2B version of Alipay, B2B version of PayPal.
General Manager. Shen.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Wei. I'm the GM of Bank of China Singapore branch. Have been in Singapore for 7 months. Before this role, I have been the head of risk of the group in Beijing, as well as the globalization office GM. And during my experience with Bank of China, I think fintech has been always with us, especially when I worked for London branch in UK for 7 years, and we deeply involved some of the ESG programs, especially the climate change financial risk management. Use a lot of technology solutions. Very happy to be here, especially to have an opportunity to discuss with the leading companies in this industry. Thank you.
And Tim.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim. I'm the co-CEO of LianLian Global. Basically, LianLian is originally from China, and we are currently holding licenses across different markets. So total license number is 65. Currently, we are the only Chinese company holding the license across all the 50 states in US, and yes, and definitely Europe, UK, as well as Asia Pacific. So Singapore, yes, we are also holding the MPI license in Singapore, and yeah, we do form our own proprietary network to facilitate cross-border flows to our clients. Currently, we have served close to 4.8 million SMBs in China and the other markets. So it's so proud to share the insights about China. Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, formerly I was with Business China, and so I've always paid a lot of attention to how China has been developing. I think China has demonstrated phenomenal growth. I think one could argue that for China to uplift an entire population out of poverty in a single generation is no easy feat. Few countries, if any, would have been able to achieve this. Now, amidst all these achievements, one of the most, I think, obvious and evident one would be how its fintech scene has been rapidly developing, and that has definitely caught a lot of attention. It's rapid, it's transformative, and key to this transformation would be factors such as the massive digital payments adoption, vibrant ecosystem of super apps, as well as the utilization of artificial intelligence and big data. Now, to start off, perhaps, is to maybe frame it a little bit to give us an overview of how fintech has been developing within China. So perhaps I could invite our panelists, from your organization's point of view, how do you assess China's fintech development so far? What are some of the defining features or 亮点 of China's vibrant fintech scene? Maybe I could invite the lady first.
Maybe let's start from the traditional banking sector. I guess I'm the only representative from the traditional, hopefully not left behind sector in this industry. I think from a very traditional commercial bank's view, in China, the past 2 decades development in fintech really rapidly evolving. The main features I would conclude in 3 features. The first one is really about inclusion. So very much that promote China's inclusive finance. We all know that as the big banks, as Bank of China, as the other state-owned banks, and we have many big banks, but most of our customer bases is very much concentrated in big names. I would say that big names were, skills, sizes sometimes really determine the quality or efficiency of the financial service they can get. However, with the fintech companies rapidly evolving, starting 2 decades before, especially in the recent 10, 15 years, I think the much easier access and convenience that with the website providing to mass client base that really are amazing to us when we sit here and really call back to those days. And it becomes, not only the payment, but also the credit, the investment, insurance is really set up quickly ecosystem for financial services for rural places as well as, including individuals, but also including the SMEs. So that's really a very big and important achievement for fintech development in China. The second one would be the transformative innovation. Obviously, the innovation was brought in by Alipay, Tencent, many of the other leading industries. I still remember the dreadful time when we sit at the senior managers table discussing how can we really compete with these companies when they really draw down, our deposit was so quickly drawn down by the Alibaba payment service and WeChat payment. However, I think the pioneering payment solutions, as well as, especially in recent years, the cross-border payments solutions very much promote the atmosphere of more efficient, e-commerce friendly, environment ecosystem for China. So innovation now become self-motivated, not only for the technology company, but also for the big traditional financial institutions. Thirdly, I think it's really about safety and security. The more we dealt with the online businesses, the more we pay more attention to consumers' protection, including not only data, but also including funding, including many connected contacts for that client base or client relationship, which really we learned a lot. And recently, MAS, they published a shared responsibility scheme, which encourage the responsible FIs, telecom companies, and all of the users really be self-motivated and jointly protect and avoid and to do a good job in anti-crime, which is meaningful. So altogether, I think the fintech really changed the way we are doing banking business in recent years regarding customer base, customer relationship interaction, regarding product and services, and more important is regarding the operational efficiency and the security.
Well, thank you for sharing from the banking perspective. With us, 2 very established cross-border payments company founder, CEO as well. Now, we know that China has been talking about dual circulation. So internal circulation is definitely the main driver, but there's also the complementary external circulation. Cross-border payments come in very nicely. Yeah. So maybe I can first invite Bill and then Tim to share your perspective on this.
Yeah, I would like to share our story. So we were founded in 2017. So back in 2016, our co-founder team has been discussing what will be the next big thing. So undoubtedly, you don't have opportunity like global, like digital banking in China, right? Because banks like Bank of China has been digitalized already, and WeChat Pay is there, Alipay is there. So when we look at this domestic market, maybe it's not the opportunity for startups like us. But we decided that the next big thing should appear in cross-border payment because the market size is huge. And we choose the B2B only because the B2B, the market size is huge, and the pain points are still so obvious. So we decided, I think we should start from B2B, from cross-border payment. So not only us, and we are looking at all other, other players in this from China. So we are good at, we have a big talent pool in fintech. We have big talent pool in developers, right? So we are good at doing fintech business. So we are right now all focusing on cross-border payment. And on the other hand, domestic banks are doing good. On the other hand, we would like to leverage their capability because they are the other side of the global payment, right? So we are actually very, very inspiring when we look at it as a big opportunity to build a big platform. Yeah, the next big thing that should appear in B2B cross-border payment, we believe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How about Tim?
Yes, that's first of all, I'm so proud to share some my thoughts and some knowledge about China regulation perspective, particularly about inbound and outbound cross-border transactions. Because in China, I believe, especially for foreign people, foreign friends, they probably be aware it's quite complex in China about the regulation framework, particularly about the supporting documents scrutiny on all the required documents to prove genuine trading background. So LianLian, actually, we started business at beginning to address that pain point. So how we can use a digitalization solution, how we can use this online tool to address these pain points. Because I think in China, everybody has WeChat, has Alipay. So it's the user experience in terms of the domestic payment is extremely good, incredible. Just single scan that QR code, then payment is done. What about cross-border payment? Because most of our clients, again, they are e-commerce sellers. Because they are literally good at selling their products over those big platforms like Amazon, Shopee. So it's easy for them to just use the digital solution to direct access local consumer markets in developed markets. But the question is it's not easy for them to get their payment back to China because, first of all, the ticket, each individual's payment, the ticket size is literally small. So usually it's less than 10,000 US dollar. If that payment still using the traditional way to repatriate to China, they're gonna face a huge cost and inefficiency in terms of the payment journey. But how LianLian we can support to address that piece? Basically, we just try to use a digitalization solution. First of all, we build the direct API with these big platforms, so we can direct fetch the data from this platform to prove all the genuine trading background. And the second, we use the connectivity with the banks like a BOC and other big players. So we plug in our infrastructure and send this data to the regulators' database in order to fulfill all the regulatory requirements. So the outcome is, yes, we can literally realize the cross-border payment into an instantaneous cross-border payment journey. So, for example, let's say a client, if that client would like to get proceeds in US and ultimately repatriate that to China, probably just a second, they can receive the RMB in their bank account in China. So that's something I believe we shape the industry, and that's why more and more e-commerce sellers in China, they start to use our rail to get proceeds from overseas. And after that, compliance definitely is our key focus. When we started, we call it globalization project. So that's why, back to 2015, we started we call the license project in US, in Europe, and in Asia Pacific. I'm so proud to say that we're the only Chinese company who has that capability in US, holding the license across all the 50 states. And Europe, same, our business span from Europe to US and ultimately in Asia Pacific. So right now we have formed our own network to facilitate the cross-border payments. So the payment journey within the network created by LianLian is literally it's a real-time user experience. So again, that's something I want to share with you. Even though like China is quite complex in terms of the regulation, but we use digitalization solution to address that.
Great. So we all know that innovations come about to solve real-life problems, and so it's good to hear how you have, embarked on this journey to solve real problems that people have been facing within the financial sector or payments specifically, and so that also helped you to walk out of China to reach out to the different parts of the world with the global footprints. Now, so talking about that, I'd like to maybe explore with you how you see China's role in this world, right? So we know that with all the different happenings around the world, some may argue that globalization is on the decline, unilateralism or single nationalism seems to be on the rise, and most recently, just maybe 2 nights ago, we know that US has a new president now, and so the world is going to be highly dynamic, highly unpredictable, VUCA perhaps, it's one way to describe it. With that as the bigger frame, as well as with the continuous advancements of technology such as AI, blockchain, these are all going to change the way we know things work, and especially like payments or financial systems, for example. So I'd like to ask, how do you see China evolving, and how it will continue to interact in a world like this? Will it likely retreat back, or will it continue to go out? How do you see your companies or your solutions being able to, address this? And how, perhaps, if I could focus a little bit more within this region in Southeast Asia, how do you think the development looking ahead would look like? Yeah. Maybe Tim, you would like to start first.
Yeah. Yes. We have our globalization strategy. Basically, first definitely is about license. Secondly is we actually call customer centricity is our key strategy to serve our clients. So if you look at our clients, their business activities very interesting. So I think 10 years ago probably. They probably just a Chinese company, so they sell globally. They use these big platforms. They use digital tools to sell globally, but they don't have an overseas presence. But in the recent 5 or 10 years, what we've seen so far is actually more and more Chinese companies, they're moving their business to overseas, particularly in Asia Pacific, this region. So we've seen they have an office, for example, they have an office in Singapore, in Thailand, Indonesia. And I still remember last time when I met a client in China, I shared that actually we have license across different markets, at least overseas. We have more than 12 offices established. And my client, he shared that he actually has office in 50 countries. Oh my God, that's even though they are just they still deem themselves as SMBs, but they have office across 50 markets. And Asia Pacific, back to Asia Pacific, literally we've seen first of all, Singapore is ASEAN region HQ. So before they enter into the other markets, they will probably set their office in Hong Kong and Singapore. So Singapore will be used as their regional hub before they enter into the other markets, for example, Indonesia, Malaysia, or other Vietnam. So when they set the office here, usually they need the payment company like LianLian to support them on the cross-border payment piece. For example, the vendor payment back to China, and some sort of a local acquiring capability or cross-border payment to address their treasury needs. So in order to address our client needs, so basically running out the license in Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, our license layout in this region, we are able to create sort of LGS, which is account service to our clients. So even though that accounts are virtual accounts, so they can easily with that single access, they can easily use those virtual accounts to collect the proceeds from this big e-marketplace. Like for example, shopping in this region is extremely big. So in Lazada or other marketplace, so they can easily use our rail to collect the proceeds, and then same user experience to send money back to China or do any vendor payments to to even to US or Europe. And the second, we also have by using the AI technology to address the pain points in terms of the fraud and compliance requirements, because acquiring probably is many Chinese people that the first product they need when they enter into the new markets, because when they create their own brands in this new market, they usually need that we call acquiring capability to collect proceeds from local consumers. But again, they face frauds, they face some uncertainty in terms of the payment failure. But we use AI technology and the big data to help them to do the analysis and reduce this type of risk, so they can just completely leave this payment solution to us. We will provide them a one-stop service to address all the needs, and the ultimate goal is definitely to help them to reduce this type of risk, and help them to save the resource and that they can shift these resources back to their main business. And yes, that's I think I'll share a bit about how what we are doing and how we do in this region. And but again, in the future, we're gonna replicate our understanding, our knowledge in China to the other markets, particularly about the digitalization solution we use in China to address the scrutiny requirements. So in ASEAN markets, I think same. In some markets, there are still requirements in terms of the supporting documents and scrutiny. So we will use digitalization solution, OCR, AI, those type of technology to provide a best-in-class solution to our clients.
Great. Hang Zhang, would you like to share your perspective?
Yeah, I think financing is an expression of real economy, not only to traditional banks, but also to fintech industry. So we just expression of the real economy, as Bill just mentioned. We follow our clients, follow the real trade needs. Whenever the trade flows to, trade has to be globally, so we follow them to be globally operated. Second thing I want to point it out is, as you might know, Bank of China is one of the most international bank in China. Previously, we intensively discussed whether we should really leave out the limit of, previously we have a threshold like 20% of income of profit at least we got from overseas operations. We doubt about that in recent years. However, in first half this year, we got 27 of our profit and 25 of our overall income from overseas operation. So globalization is the trend. Nobody can really, stop it. We can slow it down a little bit, maybe temporarily, and the government, attitude or policies might influence that to some extent, to some term, not permanently. But more important is still the real economy trend. I had a figure about the currencies, because bankers are quite sensitive about that. For foreign exchange reserve, US dollars reserve used to be at 70% in 2000, currently reduced to 58%. And the multiple currencies like the Australian dollars as well as Canadian dollars, RMB, they increased from 3% altogether collectively to 10%. So that's the contrary, and that shows the world need diversification, and that also shows the globalization trend.
Very good point. I would like to pick up on Hang Zhang's point on this. As we know recently, actually generally so far, we have been relying on, in terms of FX and border trade, has usually been relying on using US dollar to settle. But most recently at the BRICS summit, for example, there was talk about the BRICS bridge, which would be, as some may see it, as a way to provide that diversification, the other rail to do payments and settlements as well. So maybe on this point, I would like to now give the time to Bill. Maybe you can share your perspective on this. How do you think China, being a critical member of BRICS, may have the opportunities in playing a bigger role in terms of financial system, in terms of new innovation, in terms of payments, for example? How do you see China's role in this, and how do you think the rest of us should respond?
Yeah, it's a tough question. Yeah. So to us, we are a platform, so we are neutral to every one currency, be it British pounds, be it or Canadian dollars or Australian dollar or Singapore dollar. We are all good. But on the other hand, so we're trying best to support everything. So if our customers, they need to use USD, we support it. If a customer, still, as USD comprises the largest share of the usage in global trade, right? And also, but on the other hand, we do see actually people, our customers are mostly SMEs. They're not trading high-tech products. They're not trading petroleums like commodities, right? They are trading general goods we see every day. So still, USD dominating, in terms of the percentage. But we do see there is a slight decrease during the last past several years. Yeah. So, but companies like us, we're from China, so we do believe in globalization. We don't believe in deglobalization, because we see our customers, they are playing vital role in pushing forward the globalization, and we see the infrastructure we have been building is enabling even a single person, just like Tim said, a single person company could do international trade, do global business very, very well. So we're companies with a China background, but we're so actively building a global infrastructure to manage payments. So really, I think this is the one of the key drivers to drive the globalization forward. Yeah.
Great. Any panelists might want to add to this?
I agree with Bill. So until today, I think U.S. dollars is still the main currency to be used as a cross-border trades. But again, I've seen literally some change, in some new area like DLT or this type of technology, and we've seen there's some new means that used to facilitate cross-border flows. So again, I believe in the future it's going to be more diversified. It's not going to be like one single currency dominating everything. So that change is literally explicit. So again, for payment company like us, I think we need to keep investing more, particularly with we call technology, see how we can use the technology digitalization solution to literally address the pain points and provide a best-in-class user experience to our clients.
Great. Well, that's very interesting. So now if I just turn the focus back to within China itself, obviously I hear that the more traditional financial institutions like Bank of China has not been status quo. It has also been pressing on this digitalization effort, and fintech companies are still the fintech scene is still very vibrant in China. How do you see this relationship between the more traditional FIs as well as the fintech companies in China, the relationship evolve? How do you interact? How do you see that division of labor, for example, within China? Will we be able to expect another maybe new Ant or new Alibaba or new Tencent? Maybe Hang Zhang, would you like to say something?
Firstly, figures again. I got a figure that last year, all of the Chinese, the first 6 biggest banks, they spent more than 122 billion yuan into digitalization. So that's a lot, vast investment every year. It's not rapid increase. It's relatively stable, actually. Regarding our cooperation with the fintech companies or tech companies, I think we have been through some pains. 15 years before, 10 years before, we started from fierce competition. The traditional institutions quite helpless and panicked, to be frank. And then now we moved to partnership. For example, actually we have close partnership with the other 2 panelist companies closely. Can you imagine that? So the third word I can think about actually is integration. So I had some discussion with the Ant group, the executives yesterday. Actually, they went to join this festival as well. We are amazingly, we both amazed to find there's so many consensus we can reach to, because we both, international enterprises. We both are so anxious and also passionate to really grow the business in the future 10, 20 years with a sustainable business model. We have a lot to discuss. I discussed with both Bill and Mr. Deng this morning that actually 我们是双向奔赴. So sometimes I'm the, when we sign the contracts, I can be the 甲方, can be the 乙方, and sometimes we exchange roles. We are supplementary. So we see this strategic partnership, and it will going on. This is my prediction in the future. And the market is so big, and all of us have our needs in the financial sector, as well as the technology support. So I think together we can really build up some synergy, better welcome the future progress in this year.
Yes, we are making bigger cakes, actually.
Yeah.
Together.
Exactly.
Would you like to say more?
I mean, we can serve many more clients, actually. Many clients are met before. But then, but if we look at the global market, this is huge. And so big opportunities for everybody. Especially, like Bank of China, all these big guys, they have built the infrastructure well enough. So we just leverage the capability of technology to serve many more. So this is not about only competition, but also mostly it's about cooperation.
Yeah.
So how could we work together to serve more clients?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any new innovations on the horizon that you might be able to share with us, or any new partnerships perhaps you might be able to reveal to us here?
I heard a popular saying in the industry that 摸着蚂蚁过河.
摸着蚂蚁过河.
So previously, we had a Chinese traditional saying 摸着石头过河. So whenever you experience some transportation or reform, people feel uncertain, and it's like a cross river. We don't know how deep that is. So we need to touch the stone, really feel it, and then know how the depth of river and cross it in a very prudent way. And now in the industry, people saying we are 摸着蚂蚁, 摸着the ant 过河. That means the ants have mass market in
They're
China.
learning from each other.
Yeah, we learn from each other really day by day.
Yeah. Well, Tim, would you have anything to share on this?
I agree with what they just shared. So I think the NBFI and the FI, actually there's a synergy I've seen. I've seen recently, particularly about between the fintech companies and the banks. So again, I think the fintech companies, we're trying to use we call digitalization solution to address the user experience, the pain points about the cross-border payments. But again, the banks are basically place the infrastructure providers to facilitate this type of flow. So there's a clear boundary between the two roles. So that's why for a Chinese company doing the global business, sometimes it's not easy because we need to fulfill the local regulation requirements. That's why we need partner with some professional financial institutions like BOC. So because they have a branch in different markets, they know the local regulation, they know the local knowledge very well. So we can also rely on them to give us some input, so which can definitely save us some time and the resource to dig out everything by ourselves. So that's why I literally have seen that this is the synergy between the NBFI and the NFI. If the question is about whether in the future we're going to have a new conglomerates particular about for example new industries, it could be because technology evolving every day. Maybe 10 years ago, you never know TikTok could be that's so big, right? And probably you can only, for example, in Europe, probably in US or Europe, you only know Amazon, for example. Now you've seen more and more new platforms, new brands, and even some of our clients, very interesting. They probably not very well known in China. Their branding, maybe even Chinese, you ask their brand, they probably don't know, but they're literally big and famous in developed markets. So that's why I believe it could happen in the future.
So 强强联手，百花齐放. So basically, the powerful and the powerful, those competent and competent complement each other, cooperate, as well as 1,000 flowers bloom. So I think this is bodes very well for the future. And so at this point, mindful of the time, so looking ahead, maybe from just posing to all three of you, looking ahead, if you could, gaze into the crystal ball a bit, from the technological perspective, regulatory and market perspective, what do you think would be the key drivers of China's innovation and fintech development? How do you think that would also therefore impact the rest of the world, specifically in this part of the world, in this region? Any advice as well for our audience here today? Lady first.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly it will be AI. So I'm in fear that my generation of people may kind of the AI will be smarter than us, and we may really have a big problem. I use AI every day. AI is amazing, but it's also I'm also worrying. The power of AI is far more powerful than anything we have seen in the world in history.
And it is a strategic imperative for China as well. I think for many years, Chinese government, everyone has been talking about AI, so very much so.
Everyone company have been using AI. Every piece of work they are doing daily already in China. So it's really something amazing. But what may happen in 20 years, right? When AI is smarter than human beings, that's
Yeah. To me, I think it's quantum technology maybe somewhere, because we feel most unfamiliar with that one. But to me, I'm a banker, so I don't care about, really very much care, because we do have specialists in those areas. I'm more keen about your needs. So customers' needs is a basis for a financial banking system.
Yeah, I would say if the future, if we can have, for example, harmonize the global standard in among all the fintech companies, that could be something literally, shape the entire industry. Because I think in the traditional way, we have a SWIFT, we have I will say that this is literally a global standard for the banks to follow. But in the next, for example, let's say a next generation technology or next generation, specifically about the cross-border trades, I believe there could be something else. Like I said, DLT is very sophisticated. I've seen quite a lot of payment companies, particularly in Asia Pacific, like ASEAN markets, they focus on the Web3 or even I've seen some stable coins that be used for to address cross-border pain points. So, but again, I still believe there's a lack of that standard. So in China, we've seen quite a lot standard is established by the government, so by the regulator, so it's easy to move money from one wallet to another or from one account to another. But if we look at the entire world, so basically, I until today, I have yet seen literally a global or harmonized global standard that could be fully adopted among all the fintech companies. So I still believe we should work together and towards that goal.
Great. So we've heard from our panelists, within China, it continues to be a very vibrant ecosystem and market there. And China continues to want to look out and promote globalization and multilateral cooperation. That's definitely. And innovation is still very much within the DNA for the companies and the people of China as well. And so I think it bodes very well for the future. So we've heard it from our panelists, and thank you all for making time to join us today. If I could just invite everyone to give a round of applause to our panelists on stage. Thank you.